The question everyone in America is asking,
am I racist?
Make those moves.
buy your tickets to see Am I Racist in theaters now.
This is all I have. Did you want to?
I can help you guys out.
Yeah.
Go to AmIRacist.com now for showtimes.
I've been told because I'm a white male, kind of at the top of the pile, how do I get down from the top?
I don't think you necessarily can.
How do we get past all the talk about racism?
We have to love each other.
Well, it can't be that simple. How do we get to a point of racial harmony? It's good to talk to you. We're still on a journey, all of us together.
I think you got some journeying to do.
Just talk to me about the statistics. We have an epidemic.
20 million crimes a year, 6,000, 7,000 hate crimes. No, there's no epidemic.
Why are we talking about statistics? This is not a matter of statistics.
Well, you asked me about the statistics.
Am I Racist? Rated PG-13 in theaters now. Go to AmIRacist.com for tickets and showtimes now.
We have made it to Little Friday. We got a little taste of college football tonight, taste of the NFL, Patriots, Jets. We're going to talk about it. But I found out some information this morning, and I'm like 99% sure this is confirmed.
What'd you find?
And I need Virginia Tech fans in the chat. First off, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Tell me if you've heard this. We know that Virginia Tech is famous for the stadium interest Enter Sandman.
Mm-hmm.
That Metallica is going to be playing in Blacksburg.
Really?
At Lane Stadium, but not for the game. So, like having a concert there, because they're on a tour, and they're going to all these huge cities, and then Blacksburg.
That's cool, though. Not during the game, though.
Not during the game. They're not going to, play, at least from what I saw,
Lame.
They're not going to play the intro, but they're going to do the concert at Lane Stadium, which I think is awesome.
That is awesome. Good for them, but we could just raise ticket prices 20% and then get them to play during
for that
the game.
one.
Do you not
I heard a number. I heard a number that said it's to get them to play is $5 million. That's what they would charge.
If they were during the game?
During the game, maybe it may even be the concert in general. I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like they said during the game. Can you imagine if Metallica played Enter Sandman live? You can't lose that game.
But that's already cool. Like, imagine just creating that as your tradition, and then that brings the band there, which they normally wouldn't hit that spot.
No, like you look at the cities,
so
they're like major
$5 million to play one song?
No, I think it would probably be to play more than just one song, but
Raise
definitely
those ticket prices, man. 30%.
Nah, get out.
We got the recording.
I just think it's college football created a reason for Metallica to go to Blacksburg.
True. That's why Russell Crowe came and talked to us that year. And we showed
I just think it's cool, man. College football's got a lot of reach.
A lot of power.
Reach. Mel Kiper tries to ruin football. We're going to preview the rest of some of this weekend's top college football matchups. And also, we're going to break down the Jets versus the Patriots tonight. I'm Jake Crain, and it's Little Friday, also known as Thursday, here at Crain & Company. For some unknown reason, in the last couple of weeks, we've seen some quote-unquote prominent football commentators talk about how defenses running too high safeties or playing high coverage is turning quarterbacks into check-down artists and making the game boring. Then recently, Mel Kiper basically said that playing too high safeties should be outlawed. I do want to play a short clip of it so you can see for yourself I'm not making this up. Let's go ahead and play the clip.
That's what I want to see brought back. Say, well, you can't do that, right? Well, you got a 5-yard rule with the cornerbacks, right? The Mel Blunt rule, right? Now with the push thing with Hurts, you got to be a yard back now. So don't tell me you can't have those safeties closer to the line of scrimmage than they are. I was at games where I'm thinking, hey, too high? They're out in outer space. I couldn't even find us. They're playing with 9 guys, right? Where are the other 2? Oh, the other 2, they're so daggone far back, and even though they're part of the damn play. I'm telling you, we got to change this thing, and we got to have, hey, you can warn them. They come up, hey, guys, you got to get up a little bit, right? You're too far back. Warn those safeties, but you got to figure out, competition committee, somebody's got to figure out what that depth is, but it's too far back right now. The NFL is being ruined by these too high safeties.
Dude, what? Defenses playing two high safeties isn't a new thing. There are ways to beat it. Like, I don't know, running the ball or throwing underneath it. This is the equivalent of saying that wide receivers can't line up outside of the hashes. It's stupid. And to act like it's some new invincible defense that came out of nowhere is even dumber. Look up Bud Carson. Maybe people are doing it at a higher rate because you've skewed the rules so heavily toward the offense, it's almost become a necessity. But I don't hear anybody complaining about that. In the NFL, DBs can't touch a receiver after 5 yards. You can't hit the quarterbacks anymore. And offensive targeting is about as common sense these days. And hey, Mel, safeties aren't the only ones who can play in high coverage. Corners can do it too. You can mix nickels in there with them. And when Mel finds out what cover 3 is, he might actually spontaneously combust. Now, if this was 7-on-7 and you couldn't run the ball, maybe this rule would work. But we're talking about real football. If you don't like what I'm running, then force me out of it. And if I want to play with a light box or an even box, run it at me. We already have a new stupid kickoff rule. The extra point's different, and we've outlawed the hip drop tackle. Now I got to only play one high or creep my safeties down closer to the line of scrimmage every play? The truth is, you're telling on yourself. You're a casual or you don't know ball. And I want to leave you with a quote, Mel, from one of my favorite movies. Mr. Kiper, what you have just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things that I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul. And on that note, I'm going to bring in David Cohn, former Michigan quarterback, my brother, former Western State, Colorado wide receiver. David, Napoleon won a lot of wars and they still exiled him. You got to go. Like this is, at what point do you say something that's not just like a hot take, but so innately dumb and so just out there? I don't know if you can have him back on TV. Like, send him back to Transylvania or whatever. That's one of the worst things I've ever heard. Not because of what you said. It's because apparently you know nothing about football. Now I can't take anything else you say seriously, whether it's NFL draft evaluations or anything. You know nothing about football.
Well, usually I wouldn't care too much what Mel Kiper says. I really don't watch ESPN anymore, and that's one of the reasons I'm so grateful to be a part of this show. But one of the reasons I do think it is important to talk about this topic is because Mel Kiper has influence in professional football. I mean, he really does. And combined with the fact we are seeing the National Football League change so many rules, we're looking at a completely different kickoff right now. And they call it the dynamic kickoff just from one season to the next. We've seen them change the PAT. They will change rules if they think that this will put up more points on the board, more scoring offenses. They will do something like this. And it's so aggravating because one of the best parts about football, and we talk about this a lot on this show, is the evolution of scheme, the evolution of the game, a response to a response, an adjustment to an adjustment. And these days you're seeing so much more 10 personnel. Right? You're seeing so much more 11 personnel, pass-catching tight ends. You're not seeing so much 21 personnel with two backs, 22 personnel with fullbacks in the game, downhill, big bruising running backs. You're not seeing that anymore. So the natural response from a defense to try and adjust to an advantage the offense is trying to gain is to run more two high safeties, to run cover two, and also that we could talk all day about. Also, two high safeties at the beginning pre-snap to spin down into single highs. Yeah, one of the best ways to confuse quarterbacks, which brings me to the next point, which is we're seeing so many more young quarterbacks being forced to play early in the NFL. And that's being talked about a lot today as a response to Mel Kiper. But one of the reasons for that is the huge contracts on the second contract. Like, if you're going to be forced to pay a guy entering year 3 or 4 who may hold out $65, $70 million a year and make him the highest paid NFL player of all time, after he has one good season, then yeah, you have to run him out there as a rookie or a second-year guy. It's kind of insane to watch these young quarterbacks play at such an early age. But the biggest thing to me is if the NFL wants to change their rules, it's disappointing and it's frustrating, but they got to do whatever they want to do. I just hope this stuff doesn't bleed down to the college game.
Well, that's one of the reasons, again, why I'm worried. And you brought up the influence that Mel Kiper, Jr. does have, which it's a story all in its own. Blaine, trying to compare safety depth to the quote-unquote tush push is to use that as you can change that so you can change this. Those two things have absolutely no correlation in the actual scheme of football. But then not understanding what cover 3 is, not understanding what Tampa 2 is, where you play with 2 high and then put the mic in the middle, kind of in a higher coverage. I know like Orlovsky and them can't really say anything back when somebody says.
But Dan's not going to say anything back anyway.
Yeah, I know Dan's not. But like watching the reaction of actual knowers of ball, like this is like Mel Kiper made the decision that I guess I'm on my way out. I might as well blow up the village while I'm on the 4-wheeler driving full speed. I can't make sense of that.
Well, I stopped listening to Mel Kiper when he said Jimmy Clausen's going to win multiple Super Bowls,
That's
to be
true.
honest. But hey, Mel, let's take it even further. Let's go even further. Let's not even have defenses, all right? Let's just get the offense, hand them the ball in the end zone, let the defense go get a coffee break. The thing about people don't realize, having 2 safeties to take away that bomb play actually forces the offense to have a strategy to actually know what they're doing. Unless you want to see Madden simulations every Sunday and every Thursday and every Monday where the score is 49-50, because that's what it'll turn into. These people are trying to turn football into 7-on-7. We can see it in front of our eyes, and they do have influence. And the more they talk, the more it seems to actually happen in the NFL. But it's good for us. You're seeing people who don't know football. All right, and they're putting them in the limelight at ESPN. Most of these people don't know they're talking figures. I'll never trust a guy with this big of a forehead and that's much hair gel. David, no offense to you, I love your hair, but this is perfect. This is perfect. It doesn't get any better for actual football fans out there seeing what they are really about. This is almost as dumb as a take when I had people coming out saying that the Wildcat was going to revolutionize football. It's close into that realm. It's good for us. Mel Kiper knows nothing about football, and he's pretty mediocre at the draft board, too.
Well, that's, again, people say, just stick to draft evaluations. If you don't know this, how can I take any draft evaluation? The happiest guy in the world may be Todd McShay right now. Is Todd McShay the happiest guy in the world? He'd be like, look, I told you, this guy really doesn't understand it. And there's a clip of when Mel Kiper started. I think it was the Colts head coach or owner. He said something, and oh boy, just clowned him. Yeah, he was like, what are you know nothing about.
Oh, actually, that was the owner before, wasn't it?
I believe so. It's just, I guess maybe it was a trick, I don't know, to get people to talk about Mel Kiper, but there's other ways to do it where we can talk about you not coming out and proving, A, you're a casual, B, you really don't know as much ball as casuals, apparently, if you're saying things like that. It absolutely blows my mind. We want to know what you think. The phone lines are going to open here in about 30 minutes, 1-855-236-3228. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. But I heard that, I saw people reacting to it, and I hadn't heard the clip yet. I was like, I'm going to listen to the clip and see what he says. Maybe people are misconstruing it. No, you nailed it.
We should send him the huddle up from the USC LSU game.
David, that would be, you might as well send him something in Korean.
The whole shot.
You might as well. And listen, we don't have all the answers. There's guys out there that know more football than us, but we know more than that. I can promise you. And to Blaine's point, I think it does illuminate. It shows when you bring people on that aren't really knowledgeable, and it's not a prediction thing, right? Like, you're going to get some games right. You're going to get some games wrong. Even the draft evaluations. You're going to hit on some of those, and you're going to miss some of those. But that is like stone cold stupid. It's like there's no debating how dumb what he just said. It's like the pup, like I said, the Billy Madison reference, the puppy who lost his way. I mean, I think even Miss Libby knows that, and she was putting glue all over herself in the kindergarten classroom.
Yeah,
and there's like,
why are you lumping me in with Mel Kiper? Before you go any further,
why
are you lumping in?
I said you liked you sport the hair a lot better than Mel.
Okay,
I go and say that, but isn't this are you surprised? Is anybody surprised by this?
I'm actually changed the rules
one thing that got
a little bit.
Is the amount. There was really no pushback. There was really no.
But they can't. They can't there. Like if that was me on that set, and I think it may have been Jason McCourty, who was like, if I was on that, I'd have walked off set. Because it's trash. It's TMZ. It's trash. Like that's what it is. But you can't at that network, whether it's him saying something or these people that because they look a certain way, they get hired to go on there and talk about football when they really don't know it, which it is what it is. it's just sad for me because I grew up when like ESPN was in its heyday, man. Like they had knowledgeable people on there. It was funny. They weren't afraid to say what they really felt. And then you got Mel Kiper coming on here just saying something in front of Dan Orlovsky. You say what you want about Dan and the Protect Our Daughters thing. Dan knows football. Look at their faces when he's saying it. They realize it's almost embarrassing to be associated with it. It's that bad. And listen, Mel Kiper may be the greatest person on the planet. I don't know. He may give to charity. He may walk old ladies across the street. He doesn't need to be talking about football on TV anymore. Because if you did it as a trick to get people upset, you went about it the wrong way. Because now you look like a clown. Like you look like you don't know. And you've been in football this long. You've done all these evaluations and talked to these coaches and all these people, and you don't know that. And then you want to change that? Like, the funny part is it's not even just running the ball against high coverage. Yeah. When people are going back, he said, they're playing with 9 out there. If I'm an offensive guy, you're going to play with 9? That's amazing. Yeah. I would love that. Because it's not just running it. You can throw it underneath. And I'm not talking about the swing or the check down. There's ways to hit intermediate passing game. You want to send those safeties in the sky? I will throw the dig until you get a shovel yourself, son.
And you can still beat 2 safeties deep.
Yeah.
It's not like run a post. Run a wheel. I really am starting to believe it's like the political channels. The reason people watch it is because it's on in airports and sports bars. I've got a lot of buddies who just don't watch it anymore unless a game is on, right? They have a game on there, or you're walking through an airport. That is just wild to me. But I'll tell you what's not wild. Tell them, son.
All right, having a sports book you can trust.
Trust them.
Having a sports book that knows who you are as an individual. And with betonline.ag, they know who you are, and you need to add them to your sports book. That's what you need to do. You can place your bets there now, and if you use code BOOSTER, you get a 50% sign-up bonus as well, so you get free money there. And again, you can have other ones, but you need to add this one to your arsenal. Again, that's a 50% sign-up bonus of up to $250, whether that's betting on NFL, college, Major League Baseball. They even have like political bets you can do. But you need to head over to betonline.ag today and use promo code BOOSTER. That's BOOSTER. We go through the spreads. They got props. The teasers are good on there. You can manipulate it. The website's easy to work through, and the payouts are versatile. You get your money on time the way that you want it with no funny business. So add betonline.ag to your sportsbook and sportsbooks, and then when you get there, use that code BOOSTER for that 50% sign-up bonus of up to $250. All right, let's get to the chat.
Chat, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you donate, it's on topic. It will get read. We're going to start the day off with Logan Brzezinha. What's up, Logan? There's a very few people on ESPN that says something and surprises me anymore, and very few that I would take seriously, so I'm not surprised by this at all.
You know what? I want to say this. I'm not the biggest Mina Kimes fan in the world, right? I think she works really, really hard, and I respect her for trying to again, figure it out and do the work and stuff like that. Her saying something, like the other day, she was talking about how people are running too high coverage at a higher rate, which is turning quarterbacks into check down artists. I don't agree with that it turns a quarterback into a check down artist. You have an intermediate passing game. We can go through it. But at least her answer wasn't to change the game, right? At least it was just, this is what we're seeing. This is what I think about it. Okay. If Mel Kiper would have been on there and been like, I don't like it. I don't like that people are playing higher coverage and we're not getting the long balls. That's one thing. But wanting to change the game like that drastically after all the changes that we've had, now you're an enemy. Like, now I don't like you. It's one thing for me to disagree with you. Now I think you're bad for the sport. Those are two totally different things.
Well, this is what I'm talking about when I say they have influence over the game of football. Have you ever heard a complaint about defenses running too high safeties before? Now all of a sudden we're inundated with it within just the first week of football. Mina Kimes first on the network, now Mel Kiper on the network, who's worked there for over 30 years. Like, that's how they end up getting rules.
They're propaganda
they
pushers.
want.
That's what
right?
they are.
Like, never heard a complaint about too high safeties. Now all of a sudden we're getting it every single day, day after day. That's what I have a problem with.
Yeah, it's just it blows my mind.
Let's go to the Creek. He says, why are we always changing the rules when something happens we don't like? Same thing happened in MLB banning the shift. Why do defenses always have to adjust to offensive's ineptitude?
Well, I'm smart enough to understand that offense sells tickets, right? The vast majority, or a majority of people, maybe not the vast majority, but a majority of people would rather watch a 45-42 game than a 7-3 game. I get that. You're never going to be able to control that totally. And some teams play different. Iowa and Minnesota is going to be a lot different game, right, than if we saw two air raid teams going at it. But that's the beauty of the sport, is the spectrum, especially in college football. There's a reason it's called a pro-style offense, because the teams are closer in talent and the systems are closer. It's all copycat stuff. Everybody copies everybody. Tony Dungy was talking about how they got the Tampa 2 stuff from Bud Carson in them. So that's not the argument. It's that, let's do everything we can to make sure that as many points are scored as possible. Why don't we lower the rims in the NBA so more guys can do windmill dunks? Most of them can dunk, but there's some that can't, right? Why don't we scoot the fences in Major League Baseball? Make them 200 feet and give them aluminum bats. No, you're going to ruin the sport this way. There's a beauty in having a mixture of, on one weekend, I can watch a defensive rock fight and an absolute shootout track meet in the same weekend. I want that. I don't want all the games to be 50-47. That's not what football is. And Mel obviously doesn't know that.
Well, it's a bigger issue than just sports, too. We're so quick in life to come up with a rule or a restriction, based on an action that has happened. I think we're way too quick to do that. And as a society that just lived through COVID and a pandemic, you think we would be a little bit better prepared to guard against that.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the biz. He says, Kiper proves once again he knows guys' names coming up in the draft, but knows little about the actual game itself, and it's blatant.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's go to a $5 donation from the new man. He says, if you haven't coached or played ball, then you should not be a sports commentator. Same goes for food and music critics. Let me see you do it, buddy.
Well, and listen, I think obviously a lived experience in a profession. I'm not going to get up here and tell you how to make a great souffle. I don't know that, but I'm willing to admit what I don't know. On that same hand, though, there are people that didn't get the opportunity to play at a higher level or didn't get the opportunity to coach at a higher level, but love the game enough to ask questions and understand it and formulate their own opinions. I'm fine with that. But don't change the game because you think a certain way, right? I can tell you that there's things I like, there's things that I don't like, right? But I don't want to go changing everything because I don't like something. Disagreeing on something is different, on something schematically is different than disagreeing and trying to change the way the game is for everybody. That's so incredibly selfish by Mel Kiper. Doug, who do you think you are? Like, that you're not happy with guys playing too high, so we should change the whole sport of football?
It's in North Korea.
Yeah, like you're not, we're not going to sit over here and Mel Kiper.
Hey, he also shoots 18s on golf courses.
Yeah, and talks to dolphins.
Doesn't fart. All right, let's go to Justin Howard. Justin, what's up, brother? Nobody that I know watches ESPN anymore anyways. Used to have SportsCenter on 24/7 back in the day. Not anymore. 100% YouTube guys now. Crain on 3. Josh Pate, best out.
Yeah, look, because we're gonna tell like it is. And listen, I always say I only know 4 things, and they all start with F, and football's one of them. And it's just, I don't know, man. That just sucks. Like, it just sucks. Speaking of SportsCenter, David, I grew up, used to watch the replays. It'd be the same thing. Back to back to back. Linda Cohn, Stuart Scott, Keith Olbermann before he lost his mind or they did a lobotomy on him or hit him with, whatever MK Ultra was, whatever happened to him in the Unabomber. Like, I just used to watch it on repeat. It'd be the same thing. I could tell you the top 10 plays on SportsCenter before I went to school.
And they all had single high safety, didn't they?
Oh, all the safeties played at the line of scrimmage.
Oh, it's just 11-up dog every play.
What a clown show. All right, let's move on. There's some other college football games.
All right, boys, we got a game tonight, actually. South Alabama, a week after putting up 87 points. I hope you're proud. I hope you're proud of your alma mater. With a 5-minute third quarter, putting up 87 points at Appalachian State, who's now 2-1, even though that game against Clemson got ugly. They did win at East Carolina.
Can we go over, what is the line at right now?
-7 App, over under 62.5.
So, and again, I'm not a weatherman, but what I'm seeing and reading from people that understand weather.
You just get up there and guess every day.
So. Well, that's Mobile's weather guy. That's why I said he either had the hardest job or the easiest job, because he's like, we're going to get all 4 seasons today. It's going to rain, then it's going to be super hot, then it's probably going to rain again. Now, it does seem like there's rain in the forecast. We'll see. If there is rain, with what Major Applewhite in South Alabama does, that's going to put them at a huge disadvantage. The defense is not very good this year. Obviously, you lose Kane Womack, your head coach, to be the DC at Bama. I think if this game turns into kind of a slot fest and it's who can run it, I really like App State to cover that. Of course, I would buy it down to 6.5 because I don't play the -7.5 game, just like I don't play the -3.5 game. If I'm going to take any of those numbers, it's going to be on the underdog or the plus. So I like App State to cover. I was absolutely 100% committed to taking the over in this game before I saw that it could rain and possibly rain for a while. So it is somewhat of a gamble, but I like App State to cover this just because of the lack of defense that South Alabama has. But if it doesn't rain, and again, this is why I may live bet this, or I may bet it right before I see it because I need to see the weather going into the game. Boone, North Carolina, I will say, is a beautiful place. Yeah. We played there when I was there. We won a big game on the road against them. Stayed in probably one of the coolest hotels. It was a one-level hotel. Boone, North Carolina is absolutely gorgeous. It was one of my favorite trips, and we had a lot of fun, including a win going out there. But give me App State. Give me the Mountaineers tonight, and we'll see on the over-under when it's game.
You taking anything in this game?
If I'm going to bet this game, I would take App State -6.5. I'd go ahead and buy that 1.5 down. Look, I would let two things not trick you when it comes to this game. One, don't let that Clemson score trick you. Clemson's a pretty damn good football team. I know what happened against Georgia. And don't let Northwest State Demons or whoever the hell South Alabama played last week trick you either. South Alabama's a good football team, not a great football team. I mean, you lost to Ohio 27-20. I believe North Texas beat you up week 1 at home. So I think App State's a good football team. Eastern Carolina's not a walk in the park. If you ever watched them play, they have athletes running around this field. I think App State, and this game's where it's in Boone, it's at home. I like App State to cover in this game.
They may win big.
Yeah.
And the weather, bad weather helps App State.
Correct.
It helps them.
All right, talking about Clemson, they host NC State. NC State's still 2-1 despite that ugly loss to Tennessee. That line has climbed up to -20. I think both of you guys got it early in the week, and is 44.5 on the over-under.
I got it at 15.5. I'm going to tell you, I think NC State's wins may have been uglier than that loss, as crazy as that sounds. I mean, La Tech, not a great football team. NC State had to come back. They're going to start C.J. Bailey. You remember Grayson McCall transferred over there. But it's not really about the offense as much for NC State to me. It's the defense. All we heard all offseason, and for good measure, because these guys had proved it on the field with what they returned, that this NC State defense is for real. They're a threat in the ACC because of their balance as a team in all three phases. And they've been bad in 2 out of the 3 phases, offensively and defensively, in aggregate, right, over time, these first 3-4 games, whatever it is during the season. And when I look at Clemson, you say don't judge App State off the Clemson game. Don't judge Clemson off the Georgia game. I don't think Clemson's a team that's going to win the national championship this year. I've said that at the beginning, and I still believe that. But burying them after what happened in the second half against Georgia, I think is a little bit of a bridge too far, especially when you look around the rest of the ACC. Those young wide receivers, Wesco, TJ, those guys, they needed to go up against guys that can give them confidence. You saw that in the App State game where Klubnik and them just exploded offensively. Garrett Riley's a really good offensive coordinator. And this is a game where you have a team in NC State that's putting in a new quarterback that may ignite some life in that team. But Clemson, I think, will get up early. I think Cade's going to get into a rhythm, which means Garrett Riley, the OC, is going to get into a rhythm. And whether it's Maffa, whoever else, I think Clemson's going to eat on offense, and NC State's going to realize the dam is breaking. I like Clemson to cover the 20.5. I got it at 15.5. Blaine, I forgot what
you laddered it, didn't you?
I got it at 13.5, 14.5, 15.5, 16.5.
And this is a game, remember, with the way Clemson lost to Georgia, they want to show everybody, hey, not only was that not us, that we're for real. And you do that by continuing to give Cade Klubnik reps. You do that by continuing to give him confidence because he's got to continue to build chemistry, not with Briningstool. They know each other. That's one of the biggest mismatches you have. But for those young skill guys that we've been waiting on, because what was the question we asked about Clemson, David? Where are the Nuke Hopkins? Where are the T. Higgins? Hell, where are the Justin Rosses at? That's why they haven't been able to get back to that elite level. We can talk about Cade Klubnik. He's not going to be Deshaun Watson like he was there. He's not going to be Trevor Lawrence. But he is a very serviceable quarterback and a guy that I think can be a really good player. So I like Clemson big in this game. I think they score more than 44 points by themselves.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I was torn on the over-under because, I think Clemson, with that defense combined with NC State starting a new quarterback, I think they're going to hold NC State to
that defense for real now.
Points. They really
I know Kentucky was able to shut down Georgia, but Clemson, there's never been a question. We can talk about the skill guys on offense, but whether it's Barrett Carter, who's one of the best linebackers in the country that I don't think gets talked about enough, Peter Woods, a guy that can play inside out, this is bigger than the woods outside of our studio right now.
Well, I mean, that's my point, is Clemson's really solid on defense, so the question is Clemson just going to hit the over-under by themselves?
Well, this feels like this, to me, feels like a 48-13 type game. I really believe that. I think Clemson's going to run it up on them. Dabo's watching the quad box on YouTube TV now. They're doing cool things, right? Maybe even dipping in the transfer portal here and there. I like Clemson big in this one.
All right, let's go to Florida, going on the road to Mississippi State. You had a term for this game?
This is the patience versus the patience. Two different patients. One, the poor Florida fans are basically just running around the asylum trying to find a window to jump out of right now.
I'm fifth on the head coaching hire list.
You are.
You are, David. You could be moving up.
Then if you're Mississippi State, I know the game against Toledo was ugly, but you just got a big 4-star linebacker commit whose brother plays at Mississippi State. Levy's the guy to get that place right. Now, will they be elite? I don't think so. They did just get an $8 million donation in NIL too, which is big for them. But Mississippi State fans need to be patient with Jeff Levy. I'm telling you, he plays an exciting brand of ball. People are going to want to play for him. He understands this league. It was an ugly look against Toledo. I understand that. But Eugene Wilson is out now. You look at what's going on in the quarterback situation. How's that locker room? Boys, I know Mississippi State looked bad against Toledo. I think the line's at Florida -6.5. This is
-6 right now.
I'm not going to bet this game because of two bad teams. Like, you don't know. They could score a combined 80 points. They could score a combined 8 points. Who the hell knows? But they are too. Don't mistake Mississippi State with being in the same place that Florida is. Mississippi State, their future, I feel good about with Levy even after the Toledo game. So the patience versus the patience.
All right, so you're not touching this one either?
No, I'm not touching this one with a 10-foot pole, David. How's Billy Napier yourself a job?
Well, again, remember, when the head coach gets fired, you have a 30-day window to hop into the transfer portal. That doesn't mean that you can leave and go be playing for LSU week 8. You got to transfer during that time, but you can put your name in the portal, and then you have guys that are going to say, you know what, I'm going to redshirt because I'm getting in the portal. So with this new transfer portal era, the question becomes, when do we do it? Do we wait for as long as possible, right, to keep the transfer portal movement from really being able to happen across the board, whatever? It's an interesting dynamic.
I just don't feel like losing more games is going to help.
It's not. I'm not saying it is. But, like, again, there is a calculus in here. Mm-hmm. And I thought the point you made the other day was good in that, the worst thing for Florida is that Billy could sneak around and win a couple games. Maybe win one he's not supposed to. That regime needs to end. It needs to be done. But it is an interesting dynamic.
All right, LSU is going to host UCLA. UCLA second to last in the nation in scoring offense right now. That line is -23.5 LSU, 56.5 over under.
Go ahead, Bob.
This is another one of the what LSU defense is going to show up. And I know UCLA has been historically bad on offense, but if you watch that South Carolina, man, that LSU defense resembled a lot of what I watched last year. 24.5, 23.5. LSU offensively, I think they're going to figure out this game. I think they're going to push the ball down the field like they're supposed to, and I think they've actually found their running game and their new running back that they have. I like LSU in this game. I like him to cover. The thing about this, I'll be watching Harold Perkins every play on defense.
Yeah.
I want to see if they can figure out what to do with Harold Perkins, because at some point, you got to stop putting so many things in this kid's head, get him on the field, and let him go play ball. I like LSU in this game.
I hate to keep saying I think it's going to be a blowout, but I'm not going to come on here and say something I don't believe. I know LSU hasn't been perfect. The offensive line hasn't exactly been what we thought it was going to be. Nussmeier can make some incredible throws. As an anticipatory thrower, he does some things you're like, okay, this guy gets it, and then all of a sudden, he'll make a catastrophic decision, float one up under pressure or whatever. So a little bit like what Moscona talked about when he came on here before the season. But UCLA is a bad football team. I think LSU can play just okay and cover. We'll see with Deshaun Foster at UCLA. Their play looks a lot like his press conference. Unorganized, unprepared, not overly talented. So LSU, this is another get-right opportunity for them against somebody that's not a nickel state or, say what you want about UCLA. It's still a big brand. It's still a school that pretty much everybody knows. But this is one where I think, we see that offensive line look like they're supposed to, and then that defense be able to get after the quarterback. UCLA is going to turn it over a couple times. I think this may be one of those games where Harold Perkins Blaine does have 8 tackles, 2 forced fumbles, a fumble recovery for a touchdown, sells 25 hot dogs, and invests in crypto.
It's getting to the point now where you're hurting this kid's draft stock. You really are. You're hurting this kid's draft stock from last year to this year. You keep moving him. Sooner or later, he don't even know what he's going to play on defense. He is too talented, man. I'm telling you, he is too talented to be doing this, and you can guarantee some NFL team's going to get it all out of him.
How much of that's on him right now? How much of that is on him, and how much of that's on his weight? We were talking about, does he weigh enough to be able to put his hand down on the line of scrimmage? Shouldn't he be impacting games more no matter where they put him?
Harold, yeah, true, but you put so much scheme into a guy's head, he's thinking too much on the football field and just not reacting.
Yeah.
And that's what I think with Harold Perkins. And it's the coach's job, it's the organization's job to whether or not you want to put weight on a kid. Harold Perkins needs to put weight on and put his hand in the ground.
Well, you're not going to be a pass rusher at 215, 220 pounds in that league. You're not. I mean, I talked with Jim Nagy about this before the season, and he's an NFL talent. And at worst right now, teams should be he could be the greatest decoy LSU has ever had on defense. They should be funneling resources to keep Harold Perkins from ruining their game plan. And when you do put a lot on his plate, and I understand using him as a spy, that was the biggest question. Do you just rush him or do you use him as a spy? Because we saw what he did against Hornsby in Arkansas last year. Whatever it is, man, and I know quarterbacks change. Some guys can run, some guys can't. I'm with Blaine, though. It just feels like you've done too much. Simplify it. Let him go do what he does best, and that's hunt.
All right, you talked about Metallica going to play in Blacksburg. So is Rutgers. Rutgers going on the road to play Virginia Tech. Rutgers 2-0, Virginia Tech 2-1. That line's -3.5 Virginia Tech right now, 44.5 on the over.
Yeah, and if you look at returning production, I mean, Virginia Tech and Rutgers are both top 15 in returning production. That game last year, I know Callie McManus wasn't at Rutgers, but that final score really wasn't super indicative of the way that game went. Remember, Virginia Tech fumbled literally while the teams were still running on the field, and Rutgers got an early touchdown, and then it was 21-16 before Monungai, I believe, hit him with a big play. Rutgers has not played a very tough schedule. We talked about this before the season. I think it's been Akron and it's been Howard, and then they get a bye week coming into this game. They haven't trailed, right? They haven't really faced any adversity, but you do have that returning production. Where I think Virginia Tech, and you can look and say, oh, well, this isn't a great matchup for Virginia Tech because what they've been bad at, Rutgers is good at. I still don't think Callie McManus is a very good thrower of the football. I think Drones is actually a better thrower of the football than he is overall. Not saying that Kyron's a great thrower. I feel like Virginia Tech will find a way to somewhat slow down who I think is the most underrated running back in the country in Monungai. They got 3 honorable mention all-conference offensive linemen at Rutgers. I don't think Rutgers is built to come back. I think this Virginia Tech team finds a way to move the ball and score a couple touchdowns. I like the under in this game. I don't even know the number right now, and I like the under in this game. And Virginia Tech wants to make up for that opener against Vanderbilt. They did not put on a good showing. They owe Rutgers one from last year, and what kind of held them back was penalties, turnovers in the game against Rutgers last year, and they didn't hit a lot of explosive plays. I don't even think they had a play over 25 yards. So I like Virginia Tech at -2.5 in this one. Last time I saw the number, it was 3.5 to Virginia Tech. I'm never going to play that on the favorite side, but give me Virginia Tech -2.5. The news of Metallica, everybody's jacked up. Give me the Hokies this week.
Well, I had Rutgers starting 7-0 this season. Not intentional. That's just the way it worked out. So I think I'm going to stick with my pick. Maybe even go Rutgers money line, Blaine.
Rutgers money line. Look. Virginia Tech good at a lot of things. What do you know? They can't stop the run, buddy. Gave up 260 yards against Old Dominion. Rutgers and Schiano is about to come run it down. The most boring game of your life. The most boring game of your life, but damn it, Rutgers are finding a win, and running game helps what? Helps the quarterback. So I think the running game will be there. The quick passes, all play action will be there. And I wouldn't be surprised if they finally maybe hit a deep shot, but I don't believe Drones that much. If you lose to Vandy, you can lose to anybody, buddy.
Monungai, over 200 rushing yards?
Yes.
What do you think?
I think Monungai he'll be fine, but Brent Pry is going to try and make Callie McManus beat him, and that's what I would do. I would crowd the box. I wouldn't play 2 high safeties, David.
You better not.
Well, that's against the rules now.
Yeah. It's this Virginia Tech team, a lot of these guys were on that team that went to Rutgers last year, and Rutgers had their way with them in the run game a decent amount, but the turnovers and penalties killed Virginia Tech. So I think Virginia Tech, again, Monungai being able to run in between the 20s, I think, is going to be real. But when you get in the red zone and that box gets even more crowded, and the threat of something happening off play action over the top isn't there because the 12th defender's there, which is the sideline in the inline in the end zone. I think Virginia Tech wins this one. I like them. I think there's a reason they're a favorite.
If I'm Rutgers in the red zone, let's bring in that 6 offensive lineman, brother. Let's go ahead and stack it up. Bring me that 6 big boy. You know exactly what we're doing. Exactly what you're doing. Feel free to stop it. Metallica can't help you on defense.
Fair enough. All right, last one here. TCU going on the road to SMU, both 2-1. TCU -3 even right now.
SMU is like, we don't have kids yet, but for the families out there that have 3 or 4, there's always that one that ends up being a disappointment.
Are they the biggest letdown of the year so far?
SMU, if college football teams that I believed in were my children, SMU would be the disappointing one. The one we thought was always the smartest, but we find out he was breaking into garages and stealing beer the whole time in high school. So I've got it. Look, TCU got their guts ripped out at home against UCF. You got to give Gus Malzahn and them credit. What they did in the fourth quarter, the amount of times Gus Malzahn adjusted his pants during that game is just absolutely elite. But when you look at this TCU team, I think they're good enough on defense. SMU's offensive line's been bad. They've been really bad. We've seen the quarterbacks go back and forth, and I hope SMU figures it out for Rhett and them and for my sake, to be honest. But now I like TCU in this game. I think SMU just makes too many catastrophic plays offensively. Give me the Horned Frogs.
God, SMU's a disaster. An absolute disaster. You want to talk about being tricked?
Damn it!
You want to talk about being tricked?
Tricked. I got tricked, hoodwinked, bamboozled, flizzy-flopped, flozzy-flued. Y'all tricked me.
And TCU's for real on offense. If you watch TCU, they got some cats out there who are running around. I think this game, I don't know how. This game's at 2. I don't know. I think this is one of the best. TCU will probably roll them. But I don't think SMU can keep up with TCU offensively. They haven't shown it to me yet. Unless BYU has the Avengers on defense that I don't know about. Give me TCU. Give me their quarterback. Give me their offensive scheme. Their defense is good, not great. I wouldn't even call them good, maybe okay. But they can make a couple plays. I like TCU to cover, and you can play this game up.
SMU, if you want somebody to hate, to hate into y'all playing well, right here. I'll be that guy. I'll wear that one. Please, Rhett! Please! Sorry, David.
Oh, that's all the previews for today. We will have more keys to victory tomorrow, obviously, as well as locks, leans, and dogs.
Yes, I can't wait for that. All right, quickly, speaking about waking up, it's not just SMU, it's everybody. Hopefully everybody wakes up. And for a lot of Americans and human beings in general, you wake up with a cup of coffee. And if you're not drinking Black Rifle coffee, you're not waking up right. All right, caffeine does nothing to me anymore. It's just a placebo effect. But if I want great taste, if I want a variety of roasts from light to dark, all right, if I want ready-to-drink cans and things like that, and a coffee that's roasted right here in the USA by a veteran-led team of expert roasters who take pride in serving coffee and culture to people, and every time you buy, they help veteran and first responder causes, that's Black Rifle Coffee, man. And you need to head to blackriflecoffee.com. Use code DailyWire, all one word, all right, for 20% off America's Coffee. What do you got over there, David? What is it?
Headless Horseman's Roast. Pumpkin spice. Not my thing. Some people are into it.
Ichabod.
I don't know. Rumors are swirling.
That's y'all's family.
Right there.
Yeah, rumors have been swirling. You're a pumpkin spice guy now.
Not really, but I'll try anything once.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, you will.
That's blackriflecoffee.com with code DailyWire. There's a first time for everything, David. All right, let's get to the chat. Phone line's going to open here in 4 minutes.
Let's go to Joe C. What's up, Joe? He said, I've done many stupid things in my life, but I've never been stupid enough to think SMU would make the ACC title game in their first-year conference. Feel bad for anybody who made that prediction.
Why would you read that without a donation? You sick bastard.
Because it's funny.
That's okay. All right. All the other ones when I got right, I always laugh. We have to make all these predictions for like 175 teams. All right. You get one wrong. I've gotten so many right. I'm tracking so hot right now.
I get it every
And you know
game.
what? You know what? Maybe SMU will turn it around. Joe C or Joe Z?
Joe C.
Joec?
C.
Okay. All right.
I get it every day. Trust me, buddy. I said Bryce Young was going to make the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
They don't let that down.
Shame him.
Every time I talk to
It
you.
reminds me of this old SNL skit with Norm Macdonald when he goes to the psychic and the psychic gets everything right in his life, except she says he's from like Dayton instead of Cincinnati. He goes, Dayton, the whole time. It's like, she thought I was from Dayton.
Let's go to Spencer Downs. What's up, Spence? As a Florida fan, I'm concerned that we're going to lose this game, and I don't think we'll ever make it back.
Florida will be fine in the long run. It's probably I don't know. Again, it goes back to the transfer portal thing. But I mean, you guys are screwed anyway. It's is it better if Mississippi State wins this game and it looks so bad for Billy, like literally the third quarter, they're like, hey, Billy, look, you know you're fired. Like, is that actually?
So we don't think Florida can still go 10-2?
What?
Is that
Sorry,
still out
what
there?
did you just say to me?
Is that still out there on the table?
Like, are you talking about technically or like probability-wise?
You're telling me there's a chance.
Yeah, 1 in a million, huh? All right, I gotcha.
Let's go to Bronco and Hard. What's up, brother? He said, Jake, serious question. I'm an SMU fan. What has happened to us?
All right. Well, let me, I'm glad you asked. One, for some reason, y'all were rotating quarterbacks to start the year. I've got no idea why, because it seemed like Preston Stone was the guy. It's like somebody made promises they couldn't keep. Second off, y'all's offensive line is totally underperformed. That's where I thought SMU would have a chance, A, because the schedule was somewhat light when you look at it, and because I thought the line of scrimmage, you guys would be able to translate better to the ACC than you have. Your offensive line looks the part, not any good. RJ Maryland hasn't been a huge factor, but it's looked just clunky. Y'all have no rhythm. And that's why I'm shocked that Rhett played 2 guys, like a quarterback. Defensively, I never thought y'all were going to be like lights out on defense, but I thought this offense with what y'all returned and what y'all can be up front with RJ Maryland and some of these other guys, that it would have been better. But it's been bad. It's one thing to be like, man, guys are underperforming, and then it's just bad. That game against BYU, I got worse. And I love Rhett. Rhett's a really good coach. Y'all are going to be fine, with him there. But I'm just so disappointed that I was, and again, there's a long way to go. There's a long way to go. And Rhett, if you got to show this to the team, show it to them. Show it to them. Play better.
You'll
Please.
fly out there, won't you?
I'll fly out there. I'll walk out
Is
there.
it an SMU motivational speech this week?
There could be.
There might be time.
Something's getting broken.
It might be time. Let's go to Adam Shepardson. What's up, Adam? He said Mississippi State may be the worst Power 4 team in the country. They have one of the worst line of scrimmages. Yeah. I don't think it's going to get better this year.
No, and Jeff's playing with the cards he was dealt. You got to give them time. That they are very deficient there. That's why I was shocked they were able to keep it as close with Arizona State as they did in the second half. I know there's a lot of penalties against Arizona State that kept them in it. But Jeff's going to get the most out of the guys he's got. Y'all are going to recruit well with him. I'm telling you, it's especially offensively. It's a really fun system to play in. So again, be upset about it. I'm not saying you should be happy. I know Jeff Levy and that staff isn't happy, but this is a long-term solution, right? This is a short-term pain for long-term gain. I believe in what they're doing.
Let's go to John B. He says, fellas, what do you think about my best bet this week? I'm taking the Utah team over at 23.5. Cam's going to blow Okie State's defense out of.
Why did that line move?
Is he healthy?
Typically line movement doesn't worry me this much. But when you have a guy with the injury history like Cam Rising and the line flips from Utah -2.5 to then +2.5, that worries me. It really does. Like, is there any... And Kyle Whittingham, everybody convinced that Cam Rising was going to play all of last year, ended up not playing at all. Now I'm starting to get worried because I don't think that line movement would be, there's not anything drastic enough to happen for that line to flip that much.
The injury report out for chat.
It says the plan, Kyle Whittingham said the plan is for Rising to play. Like Jake said, the plan was for him to play last year, even though that was not the plan, I don't think.
Well, sooner or later, an injury report has to come out.
Yeah, I don't know about the official injury report. It was Thursday. The injury was to his throwing hand. So,
well, color me worried. All right, we're going to get to the phone lines here in a little bit. I do, David, we got a NFL game tonight.
Yeah, Jets 1-1 hosting the Patriots 1-1 in a division matchup. Right now, Jets favored by 6.
I know the Patriots put up a good fight against the Seahawks last week. I mean, that was a hell of a game. It was one of the best games that was on. The Patriots obviously won week 1. You look at what Jacoby Brissett's been able to do. I'm just ready to see this Jets offense. Not that I expected them to be some super elite offense, but with Aaron Rodgers to be good enough to be an above-average offense with an elite defense. But Blaine, like you mentioned, you're kind of let down on the defensive side right now. Can the Patriots and really Hunter Henry and one of the 2 other guys they got find a way to move the ball against this Jets defense?
I mean, the only thing that I was never going to be worried about this offense for the Jets. I mean, they have talent everywhere. I mean, the offensive line is obviously a work.
Breece Hall's nice.
Breece Hall's
nice.
I mean, you have talent there. When it comes to offensive line, you're not great, but you're not terrible. And Aaron does a good job of making sure the guys know where to slide and being the right and picking up the blitzes. But the biggest worry to me was you go back to earlier in their first week. I can't remember who they played, but they got their ass whooped between the tackles. And they have too much. It's not like they lost.
Was it the Niners?
Yeah.
I believe it was the Niners. They played the Titans last week, I believe, and played a little bit better. Ended up winning 24-17. It was a good game. But the one thing I could trust when it came to this Jets defense, between the tackles on their defense, especially their front seven, they're really good. Mm-hmm. I mean, and you're young. You kept C.J. Mosley. You kept certain pieces, and you just got beat up between the tackles. I don't believe in the Patriots this year, even with the big win in the Bengals early in the week. I think the Jets are only getting better. I think right now, Breece Hall, Aaron Rodgers, CD at wide receiver, the tight end game's pretty good. And sooner or later, this defense has to come along with Williams, with Sauce, with C.J. Mosley, with all the talent they have over there. I picked the Jets to win the Super Bowl because after what I saw last year, a defense always translates, especially if you keep the same guys. So I like the Jets, and I like the Jets to cover.
Well, if you go back, David, and watch that Jets-Titans game, it wasn't like the Jets were doing anything incredible offensively. They were going to let the Titans lose it, and they were going to let Will Levis make stupid decisions. And that's what happened. You had a block punt in that game. You had Will Levis do some more of his Dr. Seuss type stuff that I tried to warn everybody about when he was leaving Kentucky, which he will just, to the point where the head coach is asking him, what the F are you doing? Like, this is the NFL. You can't do that. But to Blaine's point, he puts mayonnaise in his coffee and then you expect him to not do crazy things. It's a really good point. I need to see against the Patriots, the defense look like the defense and the offense be willing to be explosive. Because Aaron Rodgers can make up for a lot of things, right? But the offensive line isn't terrible. Breece Hall's a great back. He made probably the best play in the game last week, catching the ball for a touchdown on a great throw by Aaron. I have such high standards for what I think the Jets are going to be. I got the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl, surprise, surprise. But I think they're a Super Bowl contender. I need you to look like a Super Bowl contender in this game.
So what do you guys think the strategy will be for New England on offense then? Since you're talking about the Jets on defense, because Ramondre Stevenson isn't really the type of running back you want to play if you're struggling giving up rushing yards on the ground. But then again, if your issues are more in the secondary, New England and Jacoby Brissett, no offense to Jacoby Brissett, I think he's stepped in and done a pretty good job. That's not the biggest fear you have if your struggles are in the secondary.
No, if I'm the Patriots on offense, I know that the Jets know that Hunter Henry has been feasting. That's one of the reasons that the Patriots and Arkansas has got another one in that Luke Haas kid. I'm telling you, he's a baller. You're going to see it this weekend. Hopefully not coming from the Auburn side, but I wouldn't be surprised if you did. But if I'm the Patriots, again, you're going to have to run the ball to protect Jacoby because Jacoby's not great at extending the play outside of the pocket or being super-duper creative. I just wonder how many shots the Patriots are going to take down the field. Is this a game where you say, you know what, we're going to try and limit possessions, keep it to a one-score game in the fourth quarter, let Ramondre see if he can get 3.5 yards a carry, keep moving the chains and turn this into a field goal battle, especially if the Jets aren't willing to push the ball down the field as well. So there's not a lot of paths, I don't think, for the Pats in this game other than just being the underdog and what do we have to lose. I just don't think they're explosive enough, talking about the Patriots on offense, to really be able to push the Jets.
I just don't know how explosive you're going to need to be in this game.
That's why I said you're probably going to play conservative.
Ramondre Stevenson, Antonio Gibson, those are two stabled backs who love to get downhill. That only is going to open up the play-action game. Hunter Henry's going to find a way to be open. I wouldn't be surprised if we see check down on both sides of these offenses. Breece Hall had 7 receptions last week, which led their team in receptions. So if I had to lean, I'm going to lean the quarterback position in Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Patriots kept this.
Do you like the number at 6.5, whatever it is for the Jets?
No.
What's the over-under?
I can look real quick, but I never like, especially if you're on the road. If it's me, I'm going to go ahead and buy the. This is at
38.5.
This is at the Jets, so no, it's a little bit different now. Okay, the 6.5 I'd be okay with since it's at. The Jets.
I'm going to be honest. I don't hate the under at 38.5. If it was in the 40s, I'd jump all over it. But I don't think that's great. This could be. You could look up, and this could be a 17-3 game, 17-6 game in the fourth quarter where the Jets are just trying to end it, not do anything, hand the ball to Breece, right? If you are going to spit it short, conservative, smart. I do actually like the under, and if I had to take a side, probably going to take the Jets -6. Because I think this is a game where the Jets could cover -6, -6.5 in a low-scoring game.
Feels like an under, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really, really does. But if you want to feel good, if you want to overachieve with your body, you need a workout method that is able to adjust to you, that is personalized to you, that is customized to you, and it's even better than having a personal trainer. And that's why our friends at Fitbod, I'm telling you guys, we use this for the movie to try and make sure we didn't look bad on camera. It's really cool because it knows the equipment you have, whether it's you got a beautiful home gym or whether you got 2 sticks and a stone. Our friends over at Fitbod can customize a plan for you, and they keep mixing it up. Burnout's a real thing. You know, you don't want every day to be chest day. I get it, right? A lot of you guys are going to skip leg day, whatever, but you want to make sure that, you got to keep your body guessing, to quote the great late Tony Perkis, and Fitbod customizes it all for you. And you can join today and get that personalized workout plan and get 25% off your subscription and try the app free at fitbod.me/booster. So it's Fitbod, FITBOD.me/booster. Head over there today. Listen, deep down, it's always beach season, baby. Fitbod.me/booster. All right, let's get back to the chat, and then we're going to get to call-ins.
All right, let's go to Colin O'Neill. What's up, Colin? So he says, so my question, I know y'all hit it earlier in the show, as if Mel Kiper gets what he wants, will defense not be able to get in a prevent defense in a Hail Mary situation? Give me an answer.
Almost put that in the open. So what am I supposed to do if it's a Hail Mary situation? If there's 2 seconds left and you got the ball at the 50? But when you don't understand the basics, you can't understand the complex. That thought never entered Mel Kiper's mind because he doesn't know. And again, like if this was somebody, if they brought on a basketball analyst to talk about that and he said that, okay. But you're supposed to know. This is Mel Kiper Jr. Been doing it, since he popped out of the coffin in Transylvania. Like you can't think about the complex if you don't know the basics. And obviously it's been a trick, right? Either that or this is the dumbest way to try and do a hot take. I would have rather you come out and said, defensive coordinators nowadays are scared. They're cowards because they want to play this high coverage. Not change the game. Call them cowards or something if you want to be a hot take artist or whatever. But don't walk into the bakery and rub peanut butter all over yourself.
Don't do that.
Like, it just...
disgusting.
I don't know, man. That's just beyond dumb. It's like you got Beyond Meat, like they're putting the paper mache burgers now in between.
But again, I would care about his take less if I weren't watching the NFL make drastic changes right in front of our eyes. Look at this kickoff rule. Oh, and the onside kick now, you can only go for the onside kick if you're losing in the fourth quarter and you have to tell the other team. The Saints kicked an onside kick to start the second half in the Super Bowl against the Colts. We wouldn't have had a moment like that. We could see a situation now where they say, no, you not only affect personnel, like forget nickel and dime coverage, but you can't have 2 high safeties back there unless it's a Hail Mary at the last second and you have to announce that you're in a prevent.
You got to let them know. You got to show them the diagram.
In a week in advance, tell them.
No, you can't figure out the complex if you don't know the basics.
All right, let's go to Josh Lee. What's up, Josh? He says, fellas, I know this is a little bit wild, but do you think they could be pushing this so people will have more prop bets to hit in gambling?
There's something behind
I think you're thinking of it. I think you're going too deep.
There's something behind it.
Right. There's worrying about the enemy, and then there's going Owen Wilson behind enemy lines. Like, we don't have to find the beeping chair on the top of the ice.
We need guys like that, though.
Listen, I like that. We need to explore that, right? To think
Make
about
that
it.
your mission. What's his name?
I just don't think they would hide.
That's Josh's
There's got to be a better plan than that, right? If you're trying to do that, there's got to be a better plan than that.
All right, let's go to Gruntled Boy. What's up, man? He says, Preston Stone's having nightmares about that time he got sacked 3 times in 1 quarter. He's never been the same after that.
Yeah, coming into this year, you felt like, all right, SMU's solid. It's quarterback position. Then all of a sudden you hear, hey, why is Dad pretending to be at work late? And he's like, why is... It's like somebody was told, hey, don't transfer. It's like he told Kevin Jennings, don't transfer because I'm going to play you some with Preston. That's what it feels like now. I don't have any inside information there or whatever. I would be a little bit surprised if Rhett did that. And Jennings may end up being a better player than Stone. He's a better runner, right? He gave him a chance in some more games than what Stone did. But I think overall the offensive line is bad. I think that's the biggest problem. And if the offensive line is bad, it doesn't matter what the quarterback's going to do at the end of the day. You can't survive or at least win at a high level with that.
All right, let's go to the Pat Down. What's up, brother? He says, for the love of God, when will we put Drake May in? I can only watch Jacoby Brissett for so long.
I thought Jacoby got hurt last week. I thought Drake was about to come. I was like, here's the time. But, there's an ankle injury. Whatever. Listen, I think Jacoby is a good placeholder. If they don't feel like Drake's ready, because right now, if you think there's even a chance your rookie quarterback is ready in this league, buddy, they're playing them.
Yeah.
Especially after what C.J. Stroud did. So they obviously don't think Drake May is ready, and I would rather you be patient. The Patriots aren't winning anything this year. They're not winning anything with Jacoby Brissett. They're apparently not going to win anything with Drake May. So why would I throw you into the fire? That's why this J.J. McCarthy situation at Minnesota, and if you look at Sam Darnold, the way he's playing, it's been a fantastic surprise for them. We'll see if he can stay healthy, but everybody's not on the same timeline. So I actually applaud Gerard Mayo and the Patriots for not being bullied into playing Drake May if he's apparently not ready. And the Patriots are, 1-1? Like, it's not like they're 0-2 and have looked horrible. You almost beat the Seahawks on the road, right? Or that game may have been at home. I can't remember. So, I don't know. I like the plan right now. And Jacoby Brissett is not a terrible player. There's worse guys out there, I promise you.
All right, let's go to John B. Johnny, what's up? He says, guys, I like your bets. I believe I'm going with the under as well. What's a good prop touchdown bet guy I can go with?
Breece Hall.
I think they're both running backs.
Yeah, well, it's
Andre and Breece.
Yeah, I'm sure the numbers on Breece, like anytime touchdowns, were like minus 180 or something like that. I don't think it'd be crazy to sprinkle some on Breece for the first touchdown.
What about Braylon Allen?
What's that at?
Braylon Allen's was at. Let me look it up.
By the way,
Alan Lazard going off at plus 1,400,
and that's Aaron's boy.
Like the thing about me when it comes to touchdown bets, I'm not betting anything under plus 1,000 odds.
Oh, no, I'm with you on that. But if you're going to sit here and say, I like the under, is there a prop bet I want to parlay with that? I don't think if you're going to take a first touchdown score in that parlay, I think you go Breece Hall or you take Breece Hall anytime touchdown and the under and the Jets on the money line. I think that's a nice little thing.
Alan Lazard's plus 1,300 for the first touchdown score.
Correct.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was talking about anytime.
Okay.
You don't take what? What did you say you don't take?
Well, when it comes to first
I'm the same way.
Under 1,000.
Yeah. It's like I took Calcaterra the other night for the Eagles.
Yeah, it's really
like it was like plus 5,500, and he actually got some scratch in that first drive.
All right, let's go to the Sour Man. He says, people don't realize, but losing Jermaine Johnson for the Jets was big time for their defense. Haven't looked the same since he left. That is true, but I think you still kept your main piece.
Yeah, overall, you would still think the Jets, and Jermaine's a hell of a player. I mean, he was a hell of a player in junior college, too. It has hurt them. I'm not going to argue that, but they have other pieces that you expect the Jets to be pretty good on defense. But, all right, David, let's get to the phones. We're going to get back to the chat here in a
All right, let's go to Caleb in Indiana. Caleb, talk to us.
What's up, Caleb?
Hi, guys.
What's up, man?
How are you doing?
Good.
So, lived in Indiana my whole life, but I was raised a Kentucky fan at the South Carolina game a couple weeks ago, so that was a bit brutal. But I was wondering, how do you guys think, or do you think it's possible if Kentucky could get to a bowl game this year?
Well, let's put up the schedule. Kentucky is what, 1-2 right now, Caleb?
All right.
Yep, 1-2.
So right now, this is what you got left. You got Ohio at home.
Win.
You go to Ole Miss.
Loss.
Vandy at home.
Win.
At Florida.
Yeah.
Auburn at home. At Tennessee. Murray State at home.
Yeah.
Then you're at Texas. And then you finish the season with Louisville.
Yeah, it's got 6-6 written on it. I think y'all can get there. I will say, and it's not all on Brock, right? I was expecting, I thought he ran the ball pretty well against Georgia, and he made some throws on some comebacks. I was just, I was hoping it'd be a better showing so far. I know you think that too. The South Carolina game was absolutely awful.
God.
It is one game, but I mean, it's.
Yeah, we usually go to one game a year, and he was not great at that South Carolina game. So.
And I know he doesn't have all the, the most weapons around him or even what obviously Georgia had, even though that game was tight. I just expected a little bit more out of him, and we'll see. Again, he's a young, old guy, right? That's what we call him. He's a young, old guy, so maybe, that more of that experience, he'll be able to figure it out. But I did expect a little bit more out of him earlier.
Are we comfortable with Stoops still at head coach? Are we fine there?
Y'all would be crazy to not be comfortable with him.
Yeah, I mean, we were getting 2 wins before he was there, if we were lucky. Mm-hmm. So
the win total this season was 6.5.
Can I say?
I had him right at 6-6. I still feel like with the South Carolina loss now, though, you got to win 2 out of 3 of Louisville, Florida, or Auburn.
Which is doable.
Which is doable.
It is.
Which is
you like
doable.
Well, yeah. I mean, y'all were underdogs last year and you beat them, right?
Yeah, and we beat Lamar Jackson with, I think, like Steven Johnson at quarterback.
To be honest with you, probably the team I would be most worried about out of those three is Louisville.
Oh, without a doubt. I'd be more worried, at least, and we got to see with Auburn and Hank Brown and them. I just want to make this point, Caleb, and then we got to move on. I'm starting to firmly believe this, and take Vandy out of it. I think Kentucky football may have the least fanatical fan base when it comes to football because of basketball.
Absolutely.
Like what Caleb is saying, it's like, dude, we were winning 2 games. Like, we got 7-5. I'm not super happy. I'm not saying that everybody in Kentucky's like this, but they're realistic. Maybe it's realistic's the best way to put it.
I think it was like we were doing so good in basketball. Football was like a nice sprinkle on top. I do think, though, now that basketball's kind of been struggling the last few years, I think maybe that's some of the fans are starting to get a little bit more antsy and seeing success somewhere. So
starting to pick that head up a little bit.
Well, hey, I will say, I think y'all got a damn good baseball coach. I can tell you that much.
And a good golf coach, too.
Yeah.
All right, appreciate it.
Oh, that's right, Gator's there.
Yeah, Gator.
Changed his name to Gator.
Appreciate it, Caleb. Thank you, man. All right, let's go to Anthony in Birmingham. Anthony, what's going on?
Hey, guys. First of all, hey, how y'all doing today?
Good, Anthony. How you doing?
Thank you.
Good. First of all, I'd like to say, I'm talking about Auburn football. We've been in the twilight zone since 2020.
Haven't we?
That's what it feels.
And not the good one.
Not in a good way.
And not in a good way.
It's never good to be in the
twilight. The dog never comes home.
Right. Exactly. So I was thinking about this Auburn-Arkansas game. And to me, just looking at it, it really comes down to whose trust you have. How much trust do you have in Auburn's defense versus Arkansas's defense?
Yeah.
Like, which defense is the worst? So, and I'm looking, is it me or in the New Mexico game, did it feel like Auburn was trying a new concept on defense? Because we were dropping rushers back that we hadn't done that in the previous 2 games.
Yeah.
It just felt like a new concept was being tested out on New Mexico, maybe getting ready for Arkansas. And maybe hopefully they scrapped that whole plan and was like, nah, we can't do that.
Anthony, it's funny you mentioned that. I went on Locked On Auburn this morning with Zach Blackerby, and the main questions I was getting. It's so funny how football is. After the Cal game, it's, oh my God, the offense. Well, how do we fix the offense? After the New Mexico game, it's like, oh my God, how do we fix the defense? And that's Auburn football in a nutshell for you. When I look at this game, it's a great question, Anthony. It's a really good observation. DJ Durkin's a smart guy, Auburn's defensive coordinator. And especially early in your career, or early in your tenure at a new place, you're having to adjust to your personnel because you haven't had a chance to recruit the type guys that you want, right, to run the system that you like the most. What I think he did against New Mexico and said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to rush 3. We know that New Mexico is going to run around with Dampier, right? He's their creator. He's the guy that's going to make them go. We want to get our best players on the field, and we feel like taking a D lineman off and adding a linebacker on will help keep Dampier in a box, and then we won't over-rush him with 3. Well, the problem is, if you're going to rush 3 guys, and we saw this in the Cal game a little bit too, you can't not cover people as well. You can't rush 3 guys and let a guy break contain, right? Where I think Auburn is deficient is athletically overall on defense. I don't think we have the depth of guys that can run and that are physical enough to make plays. We have some, Keldrick Falk, right? Now, that's not saying everybody's like that, but I just think this Auburn defense lacks athleticism, and DJ Durkin's trying to do whatever he can to keep everything in front and in a box. But that's the worst position to be in as a coach, because if I'm Bobby Petrino and I've watched Auburn's defense, we are going to run with Taylon Green and Jaquindon Jackson, and I'm not going to give Taylon a chance to turn the ball over through the air against this Auburn defense. So if I'm DJ Durkin, my answer is, listen, we're going to rush 4. We're probably going to heat this guy up, but we have to be disciplined pass rushers. You can't rush past a guy at the end spot because you're going to lose contain. You can't go to the inside shoulder like McLeod wants to do every single time and then lose contain. So Anthony, Blaine, I think, said it best. I think this game is going to be a game that's lost by somebody, not won by somebody.
Yeah, and I agree. The only thing I have that I harp on, when it comes to coaching, like usually you match your scheme to your personnel, right? Been through camp. You've done all this stuff. You've seen your guys. You've seen what they're good at. You've seen what they're bad at. I don't know how we got to this. That you can rush 3 guys, drop 8, and not guard the flats. Yeah. This is day 1 stuff. It is your job as a coach to match your scheme to your personnel, and he hasn't matched it yet.
It's also worth noting that both offenses are in the top 12 in scoring offense.
Yeah.
So,
well,
points.
Hey,
Go ahead.
And another thing, I don't know what's going on, but here lately, it's, how much is the Jordan Hare effect really there? Like here lately, it seems like every quarterback that comes through there get the power of the Avengers or something.
It's flipped.
And like I don't know what's going on, man. Like we're literally in the upside down. Like I don't know what's going on.
Great reference. Great reference, Anthony. Here's what I'll say, Anthony, and just to put a bow on it. We talk about this with the Swamp. Just because you have an elite home field environment does not make up for not having great players. It can only do so much. Where it helps the most is when you have even players, and that gives you that extra little bit of advantage. Or you have a really good team, right? And it's able to make up for maybe that really good team not playing well. The problem with Auburn overall right now is that they have some really good young players. They have some good players. They just don't have enough of them. And all that noise, it's pre-snap. When the play is happening, you can ask David Cohn this. He played at Michigan. When that ball is snapped, you don't hear anything. Like, it's not like, I'm not running around like, oh my God, the crowd is so loud. That you're running for your life out there, dog. So, like, it's a pre-snap thing. It's a preparation thing. It's a pregame thing, and it gives you a little bit of an advantage if it's even or more, but it cannot make up for not being fast enough to run guys down, not being athletic enough to make one bad step and make up for it. It just can't.
All right, Anthony, before you leave, what's your prediction for the game?
I've been thinking about this, and you guys are going to call me crazy. I wouldn't mind having the handle of an optimistic Auburn fan because I'm truly optimistic, and I might be crazy. But
good for you.
I see it as I see it as Auburn 42, Arkansas 24.
Ooh, wow. Okay. Hey, Anthony, I'll say this. With this series, there is no crazy prediction. And you know this, there is not a you could say aliens are going to land and read the Constitution in the middle of Jordan Hare at halftime. And I'd be like, you know what? Probably. It wouldn't shock me. It would definitely be this game. But
Appreciate
thanks for calling,
Anthony.
buddy.
Thanks, man. Call in again soon.
God, I hope.
All right, let's go to David in Cincinnati. David, what's going on?
Hey, boys. How's it going?
What's up, David?
So I'll keep it brief, but I got two things I want to talk about. One, I'll do my handball update. I've been continuing to play handball up here, and I scored my first goal on Monday.
Beautiful. Boy. How's the body? The body good? The body healthy?
Yeah, my knees hurt, my ankles hurt, but hey, I ain't as young as I once was because tomorrow is my level up.
R.I.P. Toby Keith.
Tomorrow.
Let's go.
Oh, happy early level up day.
All right, what do you got for us, David?
My son's is on Sunday also. But my real reason for the call is Michigan State, Boston College. I've been running my mouth about it all week, but I got to think that this is one of the most overlooked games of the weekend. Is this not like make or break for both teams?
Well, I don't think it's
3-0. Boston College 2-1. They lost the heartbreaker more or less to Mizzou last week.
Yeah.
Boston College is going to rebound. Michigan State's getting ready to go into their gauntlet. I mean, is this the moment of the season for both of them right now? Like at least in the early half?
I wouldn't say make or break. Not a conference game. What's the line on this?
Right now I have it at 6.5.
Boston College?
6.5. Michigan State minus 6.5 over under 45.
And it's at Boston College?
It's at Boston College.
The red bandana game?
Yep.
Boston College is going to roll in this one. They're going. And listen, Jonathan Smith's doing a great job at Michigan State. I can't believe they went on the road and beat Maryland.
I thought Maryland
after the way they looked against FAU. So I want to give him his flowers there. I think this is a game where you see Aiden make a couple mistakes you can't make up for. And this Boston College team, I mean, they're pretty good. Like I mean, Castellanos, I know he had a couple of those turnovers we talked about when he wants to create. It's kind of part of it. But give me Boston College big in this one, Dave.
Ooh. So I'm obviously I'm a Sparty fan, so I'm picking Michigan State. But early on before the season, I picked Michigan State 31-30. But the way that Michigan State looks on offense, I don't see them hitting 30. I don't see them hitting 30 points. But
Give us the score. Give us the score.
30 either. What's my score?
Yeah.
21-20.
All right.
So you took the 30.
Lock it in.
I see what you did there.
Deducted 10 from each. Smart man.
They burned me. Sparty burned me in the Maryland.
He's been eating his fair share of Skyline chili.
I love it. Appreciate it, David.
Thanks, David.
All right, let's go to James in Orlando. James, what's going on down there in Florida?
Hanging out with that giant peach.
Hey, what's going on, man? Not much going down here. What's going on with you guys?
Oh, you see it, man.
Hey, look, just seeing if them Jags can do anything tonight.
I'm just calling. First-time caller, long-time listener.
Thanks, buddy.
Appreciate the guys' show. I really enjoy it. Think you guys are funny.
Nice. Yes.
Yes. Tell my mom.
If we still doing call signs, I'd like my call sign to be Screaming Eagle.
There we go.
Yeah. Simpson reference for anybody who gets it.
No, I get it.
The fact that I'm a long-time listener, I just got a lot to say. I'm a Florida State fan. I'm despairing right now.
God bless.
God won't honor that bet, man. He won't.
Yeah, listen, boy's got to eat it.
You don't know him.
Look,
Like you can't and another one just came out. I can't remember what team it was.
No, it was. He said if Kansas State loses to BYU, he's going to basically reverse eat a beefy 5-layer burrito. Which, if you know what I mean by reverse eat,
and look, he's not getting away with it.
No, he's not.
He is.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is. He said he vowed. Vowed doesn't mean.
Blaine said
Have you heard anything from the other guy, David?
No, and that's why I'm
there's
asking
a reason
James.
for that.
James, do you know this guy who promised to eat the dog poop?
No, but we need to find him. I know.
Yeah.
The curse will
continue.
He's been found.
No, he moved to Bulgaria the day after.
This is the problem with the internet. You can just say whatever.
He's living in an igloo right now.
In Bulgaria?
In Bulgaria, yeah.
Crazy.
Here's the question, man. Y'all going to beat Cal or not? Because 0-4, that'd be rough.
Man, and that's kind of where I was. I guess I was going. I was already kind of writing that off as a loss. That's how bad it is.
Hey, I can't talk. They beat our ass in Jordan Hare.
2-10 this year.
That's bad.
2-10. I mean,
there's a difference between like 5 and 7.
No, honest question though.
I'll pull up schedule.
No, honest question though. Has there ever been a team go 14-0 and then 2-10? Or I know Auburn undefeated regular season. Let's say undefeated regular season.
What did Auburn do the next year?
I think it was win the conference championship.
3 or 5. I can't.
What did
remember
Auburn win? Yeah, the year after.
The year after Cam Newton.
3?
No, it was like 6. No. It was 2. It was the 3-9 was 2 years after.
Okay.
Oh, 2 years. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Part of me thinks, like I said, I got a lot to say. Part of me thinks I'm wondering if it's like something to do with locker room culture over there at FSU a little bit. They got big for their britches. They thought they got snubbed last year, and so a lot of them sat out against the Georgia Bowl game when I feel like they should have played. They should have played their best against a good Georgia team and showed everybody what they got and that they deserve to be in there. How many of those guys are returning from last year, coming back? And sometimes I watch them against BC, and I'm like, these guys don't even look like they want to play.
Well, stuff like that, and really appreciate your call.
Yeah,
you can think like that, but after you lose that Georgia Tech game, that should be out the window.
For sure.
So there's no excuse.
Here's what I think. I think Jordan Travis was really, really good and didn't get enough credit. I think you guys were a lot better up front, too. I think losing Braden Fisk hurt a lot more than what people realize, Jared Verse and things like that. So, look, it just goes to show you, man, sometimes you can get that Goldilocks porridge, man. Sometimes a little hot, sometimes a little cold, but sometimes just right. But James, we'll see. Thanks for calling in, buddy.
Thanks so much, man. All right, let's go to Kevin in Chicago. Kevin, what's going on?
Hey, gentlemen, and Dragon and PJ, how y'all doing?
What's up, man?
What's up,
Kev? My comment was basically about the Mel Kiper thing.
Yeah.
I mean, y'all are so right on that. I wish Daily Wire would make a scores and highlight show, because I've tried watching everything else. I've watched the Paramount Sports program. I can't watch ESPN anymore, but that would be nice. I mean, to put people up there that actually know what they're talking about and aren't going to be political would be outstanding.
Yeah, well, I mean, the problem is being able to show highlights. There's a lot that goes into that. There's a reason they're able to show the games and then the highlights. So, I agree with you. We'd love to do something like that. It's just we're just grinding in our own way, man. Right now, that's what I can tell you.
Well, I do appreciate y'all's show. I'm a long-time listener, first-time caller.
Thank you, Kevin.
In the Daily Wire chat, I'm Misplaced Aggie.
Hey, there we go. Hey, Marcel Reed or Connor Wegman? Give me one.
Reed.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
I'm absolutely Reed. They should have pulled Wegman in that Notre Dame game when they brought him out in the second half. I was so pissed. I was like, oh, my God. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Well, he just looked like that injury, man.
How much of that is the injury?
I think a lot.
Because he was balling last year against Miami.
I know. I think there's a reason Elko kind of said it, though. I don't even know if he meant to kind of say it. But when you go back and look at the post-game press conference from Elko, and if you go back, I went back and watched the fast highlights, right, of each possession offensively. Watch Connor Wegman's feet in the pocket. And you know this better than
Is this the Notre Dame game you're talking about?
The Notre Dame game. Okay. You can tell your feet are like go as fast as your brain's going. I don't know, man. Because remember that his injury is against Auburn when he's throwing the ball and the guy dives at him and hits him right in the leg. The hardest part in the rehab, it's trusting it again. But Kevin, we appreciate you calling, buddy.
It, Kevin. Yeah. Hey, Wegman, don't be scared. Go ahead.
I would like to give up my call sign. Also on Twitter, I'm Kevin the Truck Driver.
Nice.
The one that sent y'all that picture of the flaming dragon that I saw at a Cracker
Barrel. Yes, I remember that.
Okay, my call sign would be KTD, which stands for Kevin the Truck Driver.
All right,
KTD.
Or Kevin the Dragon.
Appreciate you, Kevin.
I love it,
Kevin.
I love it.
Thank you so much. All right, let's keep it rolling. Let's go to Jake in Oklahoma. Jake, what's up?
How are you doing, boys?
Hey, Jake.
What's up?
Nothing much. Just calling to talk some Oklahoma State defense.
Okay.
Because I'm not liking what I'm seeing.
Yeah. That was the worry, right? Before the year.
So I'm not really a defensive guy. So I wanted to ask some smarter people about this. But I see that our safety, Trey Rucker, currently leads the nation in solo tackles and is third in total tackles.
That ain't good.
Yeah, to me, I don't think it's good when I see our even though I love the guy, I don't like our safety making all the tackles. So what's the route from here?
Well, it's Jake, it's funny. I was a DB coach, and I didn't like when the safeties were having to make a lot of the tackles for two reasons. One, that means guys are either breaking tackles in front of him or not getting touched, or that if you make that safety miss, it's probably a touchdown unless we're bringing him on some sort of pressure. It's funny. We talked about Oklahoma State returning all this production, are returning all these players, but just because you return players doesn't mean the players played good. And now it's different when you look at Oklahoma State's offense. I know it hasn't been great on the ground yet, but there's a reason for that, as opposed to their defense. What I don't see from Oklahoma State defensively is playing up front. It feels like you guys never play on the other side of the line of scrimmage, right? Like a lot of it is either stalemates or you're getting pushed back. And when you get pushed back on the defensive line, it screws up the linebackers, right? It's like when a running back faces pushback on an offensive line, it screws up the rhythm and the timing of where he's supposed to go. It changes things and it turns the play chaotic. And then you're having to hope that, somebody makes up for it, whether that be the running back or something happening. It's the same thing with defense. So to me, the way you combat that is you start having to take risks. And I think sometimes people think risks are just blitzes. No, when you slant the front or you stunt the front, that is taking a risk, right? Because you could get a lot of reward on it because you're kind of bastardizing the process of what the offensive line thinks they're going to get. But if you get caught down a gap because you slanted and guessed wrong, right? Or you stunted and somebody got pushed over or ran into somebody else, those turned into home runs. I remember I was coaching JUCO, one of the years I was coaching JUCO, I was at Iowa Western, and we were the number one ranked team in the country, and we were playing Butler on the road, who's a really good team. The KJCC has some really good teams. And we didn't have to run stunt a lot because we had 4 D1 guys on the defensive line. We called one run stunt. We called a ton. And they hit us on a 70-yard touchdown play. It was the only touchdown they scored in that game. And it cost us, where if we would have just played it straight up, and we didn't have the problem that Oklahoma State was, that probably wouldn't have happened. So It's a dangerous game to play as a DC. That's why you'd love to just be able to get after the passer with 4 and then be able to hold up against the run, at least to let the linebackers run and go make plays, right? So that's kind of what I'm seeing from Oklahoma State. But at some point, you can't sit here and rely on the safety filling the alley every time and it being okay in the long run. It's just not.
Appreciate it, Jake.
Yeah. Thank you, boys.
Appreciate it, man.
Call in next week after the game. All right, that's it for today. Anyone else still on the line, please call in tomorrow on Flamin' Friday.
Oh, wait a minute. I screwed up.
What happened?
I sent in the wrong bets to Justine.
What happened? What bets you sent in?
I sent in the wrong bets. Let me see him. Pull him up.
Pull him up.
I want to see what he sent.
Pull him up. Yeah! He's going baseball. Baseball today. Yes,
no, I'm not.
Baseball boy.
Disregard that.
Nope.
Toronto.
I was
wondering why
it's on the Bet Online.
Justine, I screwed up. That's on me.
It's on the Bet Online board. You can't take this away.
I just thought it was a weird take.
Yep. Those are good bets. Those are going to hit.
Man, damn it. I'm taking give me App State minus 6.5 tonight. Give me App State minus 6.5. I'm going to buy that down. And then you know what? That you said the over-under's at 63.5? Give me the under.
I won't take the under.
Give me the under 63.5. That's what I want.
I like it.
That's what you saw. That's what you saw. We all saw you saw it.
Give me the under as well, but in the Pats-Jets game, that's under 38.5. How about 24-14?
How about
24-14, minus 108 on the odds there. And then largest lead of the game, under 13.5. We're going back to this, but plus money this time. Plus 100, under 13.5. Let's have a close game.
God, you're going to be pissed when it's 17-3.
Yeah, I know. Look, I'm due, man. Pull my bets up. I'm due. I'm due for a first touchdown. It hurt me watching Dallas Goedert not catch that ball in the end zone.
Oh, I was thinking about you.
All right, we're going Alan Lazard, first touchdown scored. That's going off at plus 1,400. Aaron Rodgers and him have some weird connection in the red zone, which I like. Give me Ramondre Stevenson,
garbage
anytime touchdown,
time.
plus 105. Antonio Gibson between the 20s. Let's get the dread-headed king in here to go and get it in the end.
Yeah, let's pull up Ace. What's he got tonight? He's been hot. He's going to take the Patriots.
Good bet.
Plus 7.5 at minus 148. Then he's going to ride, but he got it at plus 120. Bleezy. Anytime touchdown for Ramondre. Been cheating on me, dog?
What are your odds?
Gotta get your son, dog.
Plus 105.
Plus 105.
They'll take it to plus 120.
Cheat me, dog. Kill my father, man.
Dog. Kill my father.
All right, if you donated today, gosh, thank you so much for your money. We're going to start off, and I'm going to go in order here. We're going to start with a $5 donation from Butcher Club Cards. Thank you, Steve. There will be a drawing at the tailgate. You guys will each draw a ticket, and whoever has the same number will get to assist you with the trivia board. I like that. Let's go to William Smiley with a $2 donation. Appreciate it, William. Blaine, any advice for college football 25? Help, I need somebody. Get Alabama's playbook. You're going to run that, and then run the 3-3-5 tight on defense, and you're going to get the 3-3-5 penny inside of the 3-3-5.
Blaine, you should do like an infomercial training thing on college football 20. Like for 19, you see those commercials? It's like for 3 payments of $19.99, I can help you in college football 25. I don't think anybody's ever done that before. I think it's
I'll shoot them. For 10%, I'll shoot them for you.
Look, 10%, you got it. Let's go to $5 donation from Matt. Appreciate it, Matt. The NFL is a watered-down product, not because of cover 2, but the lack of real preseason reps. Plus, they have dumbed down the game.
Preseason reps thing, I mean, I don't think Aaron Rodgers needs preseason reps. The dumbing down, a lot of it, people say because of the RPO, but like if it's working, I understand it's a simpler thing, but it works if you do it right. So I guess, yes, you're right.
All right, let's go to a $5 donation from Ian. Ian, thank you. He says, if Florida State only wins 2 games, the head coach has to be gone, right?
Nah.
After going undefeated.
It'll just make the seat actually like legitimately hot the next year. Like as hot as it could possibly be after having an undefeated regular season and winning a conference championship.
Let's go to $10 donation from Bentley. Appreciate it. In your best Kiper voice, Jake, we must outlaw those safeties for being too high.
Yeah, Todd. I don't know what I'm talking about, Todd.
Let's go to a $5 donation from Hayden. Appreciate it. Hayden hits the war chant?
War chant.
No, you didn't put an R in there. Hits the war chant immediately. Sorry, I haven't called in since preseason, but FSU is making me sad.
Yeah.
More problems than DJU, but Cal's going to get dunked on.
I love your confidence, but I really question the execution.
You want to bet something on it?
Yeah. Like beefy 5-layer burritos?
Go to a $5 donation from Daniel Jones's neck brace. Wonder if when Jake said there's worse QBs out there, he's talking about Daniel Jones. God, please help me.
Daniel, man.
$5 donation from Pokey. Appreciate it. Caught on-demand show where y'all were asking about Thor, my Ags Vikings tight end. His name is Theo Orstrom from Stockholm, Sweden, and he is an absolute
big Swede
beast.
Swede's got some guys, man.
Let's go to a $10 donation from Danny Boy. Appreciate it, Danny. He says, I'm an Arkansas fan here. We suck. Y'all suck. Let's suck together.
Yeah.
Whoever loses Saturday really wins.
That's at the end of the day, like, Pittman, Freeze, I think is going to be fine in the long run. It just, I don't know. This is such a hard game to predict because who knows? In this series in general, when one team's good and the other one's not good. When both teams are good. When both teams are bad. This is just, it's one of those, man.
$10 donation from Wee Wildcat, and he says, Kentucky sucks and so does Brock. I hate myself. Hey, it's okay, dude. Relax. Okay?
We need to have like a therapy session. We need to have like one call-in show where we could like just get it out, get the demons out.
$2 donation from Apollo Creed. Michael Harris with 2 dingers today, folks.
Yeah. Look, the Braves, I don't want to talk about it.
You sure you don't want to talk about it? I'm surprised I haven't seen Ryan Gate in here just absolutely talking ish. Last donation of the day, another one from Pokey. Caught on-demand show where y'all already read that one. Pre-draft Kiper, and I quote, Des Bryant has butter-covered cinder blocks connected to his wrist and is a 5th, 6th round pick at best. Does he actually watch football?
I can understand you maybe missing on the draft with guys. It's tough. There's brilliant football minds that have missed on the draft. But to quote Billy Madison, like, we're all dumber after hearing Mel Kiper attempt to talk about scheme and football.
Should we do a therapy session? Like as a segment?
Like a Dr. Rick type thing?
Yeah.
Like unbecoming
That's something
your
to think
parents?
on, I really do. All right, let's get to the poll. Should Mel Kiper be deported? Yes or no?
Oh, look, we got a smart audience. They want him out. I'm going to say they're sending it back to Transylvania, 77%.
77?
77. They want him out, David. All the safeties did.
Yes.
90%. Yes, 84%. No.
Woo! Get out of here.
I should have just done the prices right.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought? I did. We appreciate you guys. Shout out to our sponsors today, Bet Online, Black Rifle Coffee, and Fitbod. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Got a great show for you tomorrow as well. And we got a really cool celebrity guest picker for this weekend, even though Taylor Hicks went 5-0 last
5-0.
What a showing by the boy from Birmingham with the harmonica. We appreciate y'all, and like the chances of Mel Kiper even being able to comprehend cover 3. We're going.
Good toss.
Gone. Nice. Yeah, that's nice right there. Drink that one in.